welcome back to biology class. Today we will discuss another topic from genetics, that is pedigree analysis. Before moving on to that topic, I promised you we will discuss or revise this linkage, two crosses of T.H. Morgan. I think all of you have studied it and you are thorough now. Anyway, let us have a quick revision on cross A and cross B conducted by T.H. Morgan. You know the experimental material was fly and Drosophila fly, and the characters studied were X-linked characters. The two genes studied were X-linked genes. Okay. Then in the cross A, this we have already worked out in the last class, and I told you to do this cross and study. Okay. I think it's familiar. Anyway, we will have a quick revision on this. In cross A, the two genes are closely located on chromosome. On the same chromosome, the two genes are very closely placed. Whereas in the second cross, he has taken two other genes, two other characters in which genes are located distantly on the same chromosome. So, how the result has shown the difference. He obtained a different result in the first cross and in the second cross. Only difference here is the genes are closely placed here. Here the genes are distantly placed. Two separate genes are taken. Okay. And in this case, he used the term linkage. And when the two genes are very closely placed on a chromosome, they show tight linkage or complete linkage. When these two genes are very tightly linked, a crossing over that takes place between the two genes, which separate the two genes, chance is very less. So crossing over types will be coming very less in the cross A. The reason is the genes are very close by, so a crossover which separate the two genes, chance is less. So the recombinant types are less in the cross A. Okay, these all things how to work out we have already discussed and you are familiar. And only thing, the final winding up, here the genes are closely placed, so a crossing over which separate the linked genes, chances less, so the recombinant types are less here, 1.3% only. Okay, whereas in the cross B, you can see the genes are distantly placed. Okay, so you just imagine the two genes are distantly placed. So if there is a crossing over through this place, it can separate the gene. And anyway, if the crossing over happens to any of that places, I mean chances more, okay, to separate the genes because they are not very close by. There is enough space to for the crossing over to take place in between them. Okay, there is enough space for crossing over to takes place and separate the two genes. Did you get the idea? So in cross B, since the two genes are distantly placed, a crossing over which is separate the two genes, chances comparatively more. So we get more crossover types or recombinants. So the recombinants are about 37.2%. It is very high compared to this. Okay, so how the linkage affect this independent assortment of genes? Okay, these two genes, could they independently assort? Or these two genes independently assorted? Anyway, if the two genes are very linked, they cannot assort independently. The chance is to move together, not to assort independently. So that is why recombinants are less here. Okay, if the two genes are loosely linked, they are distantly placed, means there is more chance for independent assortment. Okay, that is why T.H. Morgan deviated from Mendelian ratio. Mendel obtained all dihybrid crosses ratio as 9:3:3:1. But T.H. Morgan never obtained that ratio. Then he explained the phenomenon linkage as the reason for that. Since the genes are linked, there is no chance for them to assort independently. So if there is a question related to this linkage, okay, just keep in mind the position of the genes. Closely placed, distantly placed. If they are closely placed, complete or tight linkage. If they are distantly placed, loose or incomplete linkage. Okay, and one more thing to note down. Linkage adversely affects independent assortment. Okay, and this working out is very simple, and if you have any doubt, we will have a direct correction. I will correct you. If there is any mistake in the diagram representation you have submitted, I will clear it. Okay. So this part we are winding up and we are moving to our next topic, pedigree analysis. Tell me what is meant by a pedigree analysis. So pedigree chart. Are you familiar? Pedigree chart. What is a pedigree? So how can we study the inheritance? You might have heard Queen Victoria pedigree and you might have seen it. So a pedigree is a family chart. Okay, this is what we are using to study the inheritance of a trait. Okay, suppose a couple is worried about a genetic disorder in their family and they are afraid their child will have the disease or not. Okay, what a geneticist do? He can prepare a family chart by collecting information from the couple, and in that family chart he will study the history of the disease, and with the help of that inheritance pattern or the history, he can predict the inheritance pattern and the possibility of the disease or the trait in the child. Okay, this way analyzing the particular trait in a family using certain symbols is known as a pedigree chart. You will be familiar, very simple concept only. So pedigree analysis is defined as analysis of traits in several generations of a family. Okay, in a particular family, with the help of information given by a particular person, any person should give information. Okay, we are preparing a chart, family history of a disease inheritance means that is known as a pedigree. Okay, so pedigree analysis is defined as the analysis of inheritance of a particular trait in several generations of a family. Okay, so what is pedigree analysis? Analysis of inheritance of trait. Okay, inheritance of traits where in many generations of a family. Okay, we are studying it in many generations of a family. So we will prepare a chart. The chart is known as pedigree chart. So this chart we are not representing the members by their name. We are using certain symbols in pedigree chart. Okay, which are the common symbols used in pedigree chart? Very simple. So in a pedigree chart, male is represented by a square. Okay, this represents a normal male. Okay, so if the square is shaded, okay, suppose the square is shaded, that means this is an affected male. That means this member shows that trait. Okay, this is affected male. If it is a diseased, we can call diseased male. Okay, then female is represented by a circle. So what is this? If it is not shaded, it is normal female. Okay, female in pedigree, it is represented by a circle. Then if the female is infected or the affected means we can shade it. Okay, shaded circle indicate affected female. So we can just write here affected male and female, affected individuals. Okay, together we write. So listen, this is an affected female, this is an affected male, and this is a normal female. So circle, unshaded square, shaded square and circle, unshaded circle. Then if there is a rhombus shape in a pedigree, this shape indicates that unspecified sex. That means whether that particular member is male or female, we have no any idea. Who prepared the chart or who has collected the information has no any clear idea that particular member is male or female. Okay, so we cannot say, we cannot use this symbol or that symbol. The sex is unspecified. That means we don't know whether it is a male or female. Okay, but we know there is an individual. One offspring is there, we know. So we just represent rhombus shape. Okay, then next, a square symbol with a horizontal line, if is connected to a circle, what it indicates? Simple fact, it indicates marriage. Okay, so it's a marriage line or mating, we can say. Okay, male mated to female. Okay, so the same symbol, square connected with the two lines, if is connected to circle, what it indicates? This indicates consanguineous mating. That means relatives marriage. Where if a disease is there in a family, particular family, relatives marriage give a little more chance to give for the inheritance of the disease. So that we can represent it by double line, indicate consanguineous mating or relatives marriage. Okay, these are the common symbols used, and this line indicate the mating or marriage line. This double line indicates relatives marriage. And usually the first generation is written at the top. Okay, then for the next generation, their offsprings are written below by a connection line. With the help of a connection line, their offsprings are shown below. Okay, this indicates this is written as first generation, this one as second generation. The individual numbers can be again 1, 2 we can write. Sometimes continuous number 3, 4 may be used. Otherwise second generation we will start new numbering. This way we can give the numbers for the individuals. Okay, this is the first generation, first member, second member. This is second generation, first member, second member we can give. And in some pedigree you can also see the number continuously. 1 and 2, then 3, 4, like continuous numbering also see. Okay, anyway, parents connected to their children through a vertical line. Okay, this indicates what? Many generations, 2 generations are shown. If any of this member is having the trait means, we just shade that symbol. Okay, any doubt regarding the representation of members in a pedigree chart? How we represent members in a pedigree chart? Not using the names, not using the photos, but we are using certain symbols. The representation of many generations, members of many generations using certain standard symbols in order to study the inheritance of a gene is called pedigree analysis. The chart we prepare is called pedigree chart. Okay, if the symbols are clear, we can just have a simple example with the help of a pedigree chart. We can just work out. Okay, and you in the other section of the chapter, you have some diseases to study. Genetic disorders. Some of the genetic disorders pedigree you have to study later. Now we can just work out with a simple pedigree chart. Okay, ready? Okay. Let us work out this pedigree in order to study the pedigree analysis. Okay. So usually the pedigree chart, with the pedigree chart we can study the disorders which show Mendelian inheritance. Genetic disorders classification we will discuss later. And if the disorders are following Mendelian pattern, Mendelian inheritance, then we can study such disorders very easily using a pedigree chart. Here, see, from the pedigree, what are the ideas you have to derive and work out? First one, at whether the disease is dominant or recessive. Is the disease dominant or recessive? Tell me, if the disease is dominant, that means if you are using symbols A and A, individual is having homozygous, individual is homozygous for that. And also heterozygous should be deceased. So if a particular disease is dominant, both the capital A, homozygous individuals and heterozygous individuals are deceased. Whereas if a disease is recessive, only small a individuals are deceased. Very simple fact. So, a disease to become dominant means it's a major disease. Majority of the members have that. Most of the genetic disorders are recessive type. That means only individuals, recessive individuals are having that disease. Okay, so dominant disease, recessive disease is clear, I think. And the next case is whether the disease is autosomal or sex-linked. Is another case. To note down is from the pedigree chart we can understand whether the disease is autosomal or sex-linked. What do you mean by an autosomal disease? A disease which is due to change or mutation in the autosome. The diseased or affected gene is in the autosome means that is autosomal disease. If the affected gene is in the sex chromosome means that is sex-linked disease. Okay, that also we can study from the pedigree. Okay, usually sex-linked inheritance follow a particular pattern. So we can very easily study it from the pedigree. Okay, that all we will study in your higher classes. Anyway, some of the details we need to discuss. Okay, come back to this particular pedigree I have drawn here as an example. So, just your question is, what you want to do is work out the genotype of the members of the pedigree using the symbols A and A. Using these two symbols, you have to work out the genotype of the members of this pedigree. What is 1, what is the genotype of 2, like that you have to work out. Okay, how you work out? For this particular problem I will help you and I will just give you some of the questions after discussing the genetic disorders related to sickle cell anemia. Like I will give some pedigree questions to work out. This one I can just do for you. Here, just look at the pedigree. Here the parents are not having the trait or disease. A particular disease is, this is a pedigree showing a particular disease. And you can see that the parents are not having the disease. Both the parents are not having the disease. But they got their children with this disease. 2 of their children are with the disease. That means the parents are carriers of that gene, the diseased gene. That means they are heterozygous. Is it clear for you? So, since they have got 2 children deceased or any one children deceased, that means they are carriers. They have that mutant gene. So, here the parents must be capital A, heterozygous. Okay. So, the deceased one, it is small a. Okay. Because it's a recessive disease, it's not a dominant disease seen in a majority of the members, and if it is not present in the parents, it is surely a recessive disease. Is it okay? Both the parents are not having disease, it's a recessive disease. So the deceased individual, shaded individuals you have to write as small a. Member 4 and member 6 are small a. Are you okay? So, member 4, small a, member 6, small a. What about member 3, this one? Is there a chance for this member to be capital A or capital A, small a? Is it small a? No, it is never small a. If it's small a, it should be shaded, deceased. So, can be, if there are 2 possibilities, both you have to write. It can be either capital A or capital A small a. It may be, we cannot now predict, we can get that only with the next generation of him, this person. Okay, if it's next generation given, we can work out. Now, we know only one thing, he may be either capital A or capital A small a. Is it okay? The next is, what about the 5th one? This particular member. This is an outsider. I mean, this member, this family, this girl, female, has married to this male. It's an outsider. 5th one. This outsider with this female is giving another one deceased. Is it not? Here there is a deceased child for them. This couple is getting one person deceased. That means this small a should come from this mother and this small a should come from the father. No doubt. So he is heterozygous. There is no chance for him to capital A. Are you okay? So out of the two alleles, one should come from mother, one should come from father. Father must be heterozygous. Okay. Then about the seventh member. This member also, when we are getting the next generation, we may be able to confirm it. So far, we can just write only capital A or capital A small a, any of this. Okay, then these two, there is no any doubt, very easily you can write. This is not small a. If a small a, it should be shaded deceased. Okay, not shading, they are normal persons. So there is no chance for capital A. Is there a chance? Then one should come from other parent. There is no capital A allele from the other parent. So these are surely capital A, small a. This way we work out a pedigree. Okay, with this example it is simple. I am just giving it, use capital A and small a as symbols. And if a question it will be attached which symbols you have to use. And if a sex linked, you have to use XY chromosome symbol. That all we will clear along with the genetic disorders. And this part, if you have any doubt, you can ask me now. One more time I will just tell you, from this pedigree, from first look itself, it is clear. Parents are normal, but they have got deceased children. That means they are carriers, they are heterozygous. The particular disease is what? Recessive disease. So all the deceased person, shaded persons, without any doubt, we can write small a. Okay, then the other persons, when you write, you find out the possibility, is there a chance to get both the alleles homozygous or heterozygous. This easy way you can represent. Okay.
Thank you, my dears. Thank you.